Greetings and welcome to another Pokemon 2023 or Pokemon Horizons the series anime episode review. This time I am talking about episode 12. So let's get to it. The episode begins where the previous one ended, with Liko and Roy realizing after Arboliva allows them to get a good look just how badly damaged the forest is. Liko and Roy tell Mollie about this. She says that if the forest remains like this, more Pokemon will be unable to survive on their own, just like Wooper. And that while Arboliva shares its nutrients with the other Pokemon and it tends to them, it can only do so much when the forest is in such a state. Feeling bad about the situation and wanting to do something to help, Liko has the idea that they should plant a forest. To this end, she has Friede gather a bunch of berries by using Quick Attack and Leaf Age. The plan is to plant these berries. Mollie tries to reach out to Friede and the others so that they can help, but there is no reception. Liko says that they should try calling them later. In the meantime, they choose to do what they can by themselves. Roy and Fuecoco till the land, both by hand and with stomping tantrum, while Liko, Sprigatito, Mollie, and Chansey work together to gather even more berries. Once all the pieces are on the table, they plant all the berries on the now tilled land while Arboliva happily watches over them. Once they are done planting everything, they rejoice at a job well done. However, their joy is short-lived, since they realize that they are missing one key ingredient: water. But unfortunately, it won't be raining anytime soon, given the season. Back at the airship, Dot prepares to upload a new video. However, she soon notices that the signal is really bad. Meanwhile, Murdoch is very worried about Liko and Roy, since they are not back yet and they have not texted back. He, Orla, and Friede soon get a text from Dot, who informs them that the entire area is having communication issues. Concerned, Friede decides to head out alongside Captain Pikachu to search for Liko and Roy. As they fly around with Charizard, they spot a Magneton that is emanating waves. Realizing that Magneton is to blame for the bad reception, Friede has Captain Pikachu scare it away. This allows Liko to finally get in contact with Friede, who soon learns of the situation, much to his surprise since it's not what he expected, and his relief, since Liko and Roy are fine. Friede agrees to help with the water problem. He soon meets up with Liko, Mollie, and Roy, and he brought along Orla and Ludlow, whose name is finally mentioned in the anime. Ludlow sends out his Quagsire, who uses Rain Dance to water the land. After the rain subsides, Arboliva uses its signature ability, Seed Sower, to make everything Liko and the company planted blossom instantly, thus bringing life back to the forest, which also brings back all the Pokemon, much to everyone's delight. Liko's pendant then starts to glow, and it once again transforms into the mysterious Pokemon, though this time it's clearly bigger and different than before, suggesting that it evolved or something like this. Arboliva starts glowing as well, surrounded by a light that resembles that of Terastal. It creates a sphere of said light, which it drops on Liko and Roy. This makes them see a vision of a man in a cloak that says that he wants them to find the world's something. He does not complete the sentence, thus keeping his wish shrouded in mystery. The vision soon concludes, and the mysterious Pokemon becomes the pendant again. Liko and Roy are left perplexed by what they just experienced. Arboliva then goes into the ancient Pokeball it has, confirming my suspicions that this is its Pokeball. Liko wonders if Arboliva wants to go with them. This is confirmed by the fact that the Pokeball won't open. Friede tells them that Arboliva clearly approves of them, so they should look after its Pokeball. With everything now resolved, they all head back to the airship. However, it turns out that Spinel has been watching them all along. He comments that they gave him a good glimpse of their capabilities. The episode then cuts to a library in town where Friede and Captain Pikachu pore over some books looking for information on the ancient Pokeball, though they cannot find out anything, much to Friede's frustration. They are soon joined by Lucca, Liko's mother, who tracked them down thanks to her husband pointing her in the right direction, and the fact that she knows Friede well. Friede wonders why she did not contact him when he has been trying to reach her for a while. She says that she thought it would be risky to do so due to her mother's situation. The Squawkabilly she brought with her soon starts screaming risky, repeating what she said. Since it won't shut up and they must be quiet in the library, they are forced to continue their discussion outside. Back at the airship, Liko gives Roy the picture books her father gifted him. Roy proceeds to read one of them, and he is shocked when he sees that it is a story he knows very well. The story of the ancient adventurer. Meanwhile, Luca wonders if Friede learned anything about the ancient Pokeball. He says that all he knows is that it's very old. She reveals that it is, since it belonged to the ancient adventurer Lucius, who made his way to paradise with the 6 heroes a century ago. Back at the airship, Liko and Roy read the picture book. 100 years ago, an adventurer that was followed by a black Rayquaza traveled to every region where he met strong Pokemon that he formed a strong bond with. Dreaming of new horizons, he took the Pokemon he befriended and he traveled to the ends of the world. After overcoming several tough challenges and a perilous journey, they made it to a luxurious, gleaming, and beautiful paradise where they proceeded to live happily ever after. Due to his boundless curiosity and courage, he came to be known as the Ancient Adventurer. Liko and Roy realized that the black Rayquaza in the story is likely the one they saw, and one of the Pokemon the Ancient Adventurer met in the story, the one said to heal wounds, is likely Arboliva. They determined that the Pokemon in the ancient Pokeballs are the Pokemon that the Ancient Adventurer befriended, and that there are 4 more Pokemon they have yet to meet. Roy says that he wants to meet them all. Meanwhile, Luca reveals to Friede that Rayquaza and Arboliva are 2 of the 6 heroes that went with Lucius to paradise. Friede then wonders what the pendant is, but Luca reveals that she does not know much about it either, since it belonged to her mother, who simply gave it to Liko as a good luck charm. Friede realizes that Liko getting the pendant is what started things off. Luca then says that the story of Lucius and the 6 heroes is something she heard from her mother, so if Friede wants to know more, he should ask her. Squawkabilly then starts screaming Old Castle Galar, revealing the location of Liko's grandmother. Back at the airship, Liko calls her father to inquire about the picture book. He reveals that he made it based on a story he heard from Liko's grandmother. This makes Liko think that the story is fictional, but Roy tells her that some elements of it must be true, since they saw Rayquaza and Arboliva with their own eyes. They then recall the vision they saw, and they wonder about what it meant and what the man in it was trying to tell them. In the end, they cannot conclude anything other than the fact that they have many more exciting adventures ahead of them. Meanwhile, Luca bids farewell to Friede, who wonders if she won't go see Liko. Luca says that she originally intended to get the pendant back, but she decided to let Liko determine what happens next. If she saw her, the parent in her would just go on and on. Instead, she just wants Liko to decide her own future. So, she entrusts her daughter to Friede, knowing that she will be safe with him. With this, Luca departs. Friede goes back to the airship where he shares with everyone what he learned from Luca. He says that he wants Liko to decide what they will do next. Liko says that she wants to meet with her grandmother since she wants to learn more about the pendant. Roy says that he wants to go as well, since he might learn more about the ancient Pokeballs and Rayquaza. Plus, he just wants to meet Liko's grandmother to see what she is like. Liko says that her grandmother is incredible. She travels all over the world, going on all sorts of adventures, which means that you never know where she is. But Friede reveals that thanks to a certain Pokemon, he does know where to find her. He then wonders if the rest of the team is up for this voyage. They all say that they are, and so they all decide to set course for the Galar region. The episode ends with the Magneton from earlier and a Behem overlooking the airship. Turns out that they both belong to Spinel, who is still keeping an eye on the rising boat tacklers. Now that he knows so much about them, he is ready to go on the offensive. So, that's the short but detailed summary of the episode. Now it's time to highlight, analyze, and comment on my favorite moments and or moments that are noteworthy/interesting. Obviously, one of the highlights of the episode was getting to learn a lot about the ancient adventurer. We now know his name, that the ancient Pokeballs and the Pokemon within them did belong to him, and what he accomplished that made him become such a renowned figure who was even given the title of Ancient Adventurer. I think that he and his story would make for a great spin-off series or movie, given how interesting they are. Also, I cannot wait to see who the other 4 heroes are, since the picture book is not clear about it. You can see more or less what they look like, but not exactly what Pokemon they are. And considering that so far, we know of a shiny legendary and a giant Pokemon. The other 4 heroes could honestly be anything, which is exciting. Furthermore, I think that it's safe to assume that they will all end up under Liko and Roy's care. Probably after seeing if they are worthy. And speaking of unique Pokemon, I am very curious about the pendant and why this time, when it became a Pokemon, it was different. I also wonder what its connection to Lucius is. Moreover, I think that it's safe to say that the man Liko and Roy saw in the vision is Lucius. He likely wants them to go to this paradise he went to, and his Pokemon will help Liko and Roy achieve this. The other highlight of the episode was, of course, getting to meet Lucca. We did not get to learn too much about her, but it's clear that she is very smart, eloquent, and that she cares a lot about Liko, which makes her an interesting and likable character. Plus, she is quite beautiful. I love her design. I definitely hope that we get to see her again and that we get to learn much more about her. Additionally, it was fun to see everyone working together to restore the forest, and it's great that they set up Spinel to be a major threat. Potentially more dangerous than Amegio and company. I cannot wait to see what kind of obstacle he will be. But those are my thoughts on and analysis of the episode. Now it's time to bring this review to a close by going over my overall opinion of the episode. So overall, this episode was amazing. Definitely one of the best episodes thus far. I really cannot wait to see how the story and the characters continue to develop and to delight and surprise us. But that's the review and the video. So, as always, leave your own thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and would like to see more like it, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I love Pokemon and I love making videos on both the anime and the games. Also, please consider clicking the links on screen so that you can check out more videos like this right away. Thank you very much for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.